Hi, I'm Randall Grahm from Bonny Doon Vineyard, and you're watching Understanding Wine with Austin Beeman. Well, I don't think it's Syrah. I think it's capitalism. I think it's the problem of late capitalism, or industrialism, or it's, in other words, the industry is looking for the next thing, and I think it's the hyper efficiency of the industry that is its worst enemy. In other words, we iterate too quickly, we adapt too quickly, and we overcompensate, we over-adapt. So in other words, many people believed that Syrah was going to be the next thing. Everybody rushes in to plant Syrah. Almost all of the Syrah that's planted is in the wrong place, based on wrong assumptions. Tremendous amount of really bad Syrahs made, occluding the fact that some really good Syrahs also made. Category is killed before it has a chance to actually begin to flourish and show its potential. There's some fabulous Syrahs being made, but Syrah is getting pulled out now in favor of the next thing, which seems to be Grenache, of all things. People should just slow down, get a grip on themselves, is what I have to say. They just get a grip on yourself. Plant a vineyard. It's a very expensive thing to plant a vineyard. Do it right. Do some research. Do some trials. Plant something that's different, but look before you leap. That's kind of ironic coming from me, but if we planted Syrah in the right place, which is to say a cool place, climatically cool, with enough rainfall, enough enough water holding capacity in the soils, we would produce fabulous Syrahs in California. One of the things that many people don't know about Syrah is, not all Rhone grapes are created equal. The requirements of Mourvèdre are very different from Syrah, which are very different from Grenache. Syrah is actually a cool climate site. It needs a cool climate site. It's otherwise it tends to be a very high pH wine, which is not so great. You want to grow it in an area that has abundant moisture, but the moisture that's held in a particular way. Syrah is one of the funny grapes that doesn't have good stomatal regulation. So in other words, it just keeps drinking, it just keeps sucking up water, and it doesn't know how to regulate itself. So when there's drought, it just runs out of moisture very quickly. It doesn't know how to protect itself against water deficit. So if there's a lot of moisture, it sucks it all up, grows very, very rankly, overextends itself, and then in the instance of drought, it runs out of gas. So you need special kinds of soils for Syrah, ones that have moisture, but hold the moisture very, very tightly. Granitic soils are a good example. Limestone soils are a good example. So the plant doesn't overextend itself, and you have moisture left for later in the season. Well, it turns out there's no intuitive way of determining what does well in California and what doesn't. It's essentially, my conclusion is it's basically trial and error. So we used to grow Albarino. We still produce Albarino. I never had any forethought that Albarino would be brilliant in California, but it turns out it's brilliant. Go figure. It just is. Other grapes are brilliant in California for reasons that are more obvious. Carignan, believed by many to be a worthless grape. Well, it turns out it's worthless for about the first 35 years, like some people, for the first 30 some odd years of its life. Eventually it grows up and matures, gets into balance, and produces brilliant wine. And when it's very old, like 100 years old, produces exquisite wine. it's so hard to know what is going to work and what isn't going to work. Sometimes you grow grapes, you grow them you grow the right grapes, except you grow them in slightly the wrong area or slightly the wrong way or with the wrong clone, and it doesn't quite work. But if you change things just a little bit, it would have worked perfectly. It's very frustrating.